before you get started, before you go in, all right, I won't take long. This occurred to me earlier today. I just have to observe and point out this 180, this role reversal, this table turning that has happened between me and you. You know how, especially in today's NBA, with players moving so frequently, a lot of young fans aren't necessarily fans of teams, they're fans of players, like LeBron. So if you're a LeBron fan, you know, you went from being a Heat fan to a Cavs fan to a Lakers fan, right? I figured something out about you. You are the opposite when it comes to James Harden. So whoever James Harden is facing, you're a fan of that team. So I say that to say this, the 180 I was referring to, lowest of keys, Michael, you have become a Nets fan. No. Like this time last year, but wait, only for purposes of hating on Harden. This time last year, I was Mr. Net and you were Mr. Sixers. Last night, I'm with the Sixers and you're being on brand, you were with the Nets, and I'm sure took great pleasure in watching James Harden struggle. Call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it confirmation bias, whatever you want to call it. Today feels like a holiday for Harden haters like Holley. So the floor is yours.
Yeah. Holley, the Harden hater, Triple H in full effect. But I would say this. Since it's New York and there's some great venues in New York, the Apollo in Harlem, the Village Vanguard, the Blue Note, all these places. All of these places know the phrase "for one night only." For one night only, you got to check it out. So for one night only, yes, I was riding with the Brooklyn Nets only because James Harden was on the other side. And not just James Harden on the other side, the Ben Simmons there in his Louis, rocking the Louis black and gold, was with Brooklyn out of Philly. So I just enjoyed watching James Harden try to kind of change the conversation after the game. I thought he would say something after the game. I didn't think he'd say we. We who? What about? Oh, it was good for us. You know, we got our ass kicked. No. You got your ass kicked. You, James Harden, got your ass kicked because you weren't ready for the assignment. He wasn't ready for the assignment. Those guys, listen to Kyrie, listen to Kevin Durant, Seth Curry, all of them. That's my dog. Julius Erving was like, this not even worth my time. As Brandon said earlier, I didn't know they had red bottom hats. But Kyrie knew what it was about. Seth Curry knew what it was about. Kevin Durant knew. Your boy Bruce Brown knew. Everybody knew that this was a little something different. James Harden just doing the Harden thing, just kind of floating along. Hey, it's just a normal game. It's not a normal game. Don't let Kyrie D you up like that. Kyrie, defensive stopper, last night, shutting down James Harden into a Ben Simmons-like 3 for 17.
No, see, that's not even funny because it's not even accurate. Because there's no way Ben Simmons would have shot it 17 times.
You don't say.
When's the last time Ben Simmons shot 17 shots? I have every right to speak. Because when I'm hearing nothing but nonsense, when you're just spewing garbage, when you're spewing garbage, there's only so much that I can take.
No, you can't.
That's the best.
You can't.
That's the best thing you've said. That's the best thing you've said so far. Was you barking like a dog?
That was the best thing I've heard. That was
the best commentary out of your mouth so far.
The best thing.
Congratulations on a great reference.
The lights came on, and you have to sit there and make some excuse about this dynamic duo.
No, I'm not making excuses.
Telling us about.
I'm not making excuses.
Dynamic.
There's no excuse. Oh, there's no excuse for 3 for 17.
Amazing.
There's no excuse for 3 for 17. Once upon a time, Bob Ryan wrote something to the effect. He wrote this about, I remember Leeds. He talked about a pitcher. Like some pitchers are born to take the mound on a getaway day in July. And that was my inspiration for talking about James Harden a few years ago. I said some guys are just meant to entertain us in February and March, not May and June. And listen, I'm going to speak because, I have to. But generally speaking, no, today ain't my day. Today is the day for the people who believe that you can't trust James Harden in big moments. Today is the day for the people who believe that James Harden is a fraud. Well, that's what his body of work suggests. Okay? That's why I started off by saying self-fulfilling prophecy or confirmation bias, whatever you want to call it. That was it last night. So today is a holiday for Harden haters like yourself. I do want to point out two things. One, they weren't going to go undefeated with James Harden. I never said they'd go undefeated. They were 5-0. That was their first loss with James Harden. Brooklyn came to play. Mm-hmm. The Sixers, led by James Harden, I don't know. That's for them to figure out. Thankfully, they're still in third while the Nets are still in play-in territory. So as Kevin Durant accurately pointed out, no championships were won or lost last night. However, there is the very real possibility that last night could linger. If it's a statement game, it confirmed what a lot of people thought, which is that James Harden still has a lot to prove in the playoffs. Joel Embiid still has a lot to prove in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Nets have the best player in the game, and last night they had the best player on the floor. It's really that simple. You can make last night about James Harden all you want. For me, it was actually more about Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, remember we argued yesterday about whether or not.
We already knew Kevin Durant. We already knew Kevin Durant was great. So, no, last night was about James
Harden.
That's
what I said.
You just said. But the reason you just pointed it out, you said it's more about Durant. You said it's more about Durant than Harden.
It was more about Durant dominating last night. They were plus 34 with Durant on the floor. So we knew Durant was the best player in the game. And last night he was the best player on the floor. That's why they won the game last night, because of Kevin Durant.
Sure.
Kevin Durant led the way, followed by Kyrie Irving. So when Kevin Durant, we argued yesterday about whether or not it was personal for Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And I told you it wasn't. It was business.
What do you think now?
So now what do you think? It still wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. It was business. And they handled business. You act like Kevin Durant ain't a killer every night. Kevin Durant plays like that every night. Kyrie Irving plays like that every night. The problem is for the Sixers, James Harden, unfortunately, plays like that far too often in big games. So the question going forward is simply, is it important enough for James Harden? Is he comfortable being a one-time regular season MVP, being third on the all-time three-pointers made list, and hanging out with the baby or Lil Baby, whichever baby he was with, and Travis Scott? Is that what he wants his career to be? Because when I say is it's going to linger, when we get into the postseason, it was already squarely on James Harden, and now this is in the back of their mind.
Right.
So,
yeah, look, obviously James Harden's not comfortable with that, because that's why he's hopping from team to team trying to find a contender. I don't see how it wasn't personal for the Brooklyn Nets. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.